how I came to the decision was really pretty simple. I was offered an artist residency up in the Boundary Waters of Minnesota, and I had to rent a car to get there. So I just decided to keep the car for an extra week and drive down to the North Shore of Lake Superior and do camping in the state parks. They have a wonderful state park system. So I really quickly jumped onto the Minnesota State Parks reservation system and reserved spots at Judge C.R. Magny State Park for 2 nights, the Cascade River State Park for 2 nights, and then the Temperance River State Park for 2 nights. And then I started planning day hikes from those state parks and realized that I didn't really want to car camp, and I'd been watching all those through hike videos and discovered you could just do a section hike. So I started planning for a section hike. And I decided to use my state park reservations as guideposts. So I looked at Judge C.R. Magny, figured out how many miles I could hike over 8 days from there, and landed at the Oberg Mountain Trailhead. It was roughly 64 miles from end to end. Then I decided to go ahead and keep my Cascade River State Park reservation and my Temperance River State Park, but Cascade being the sort of critical one because I learned that I should only really be carrying like 3 or 4 days worth of food at a time to keep my pack at a decent weight, so I would need a resupply day in the middle. So I kept those 2 nights at Cascade River and decided to use those as a day off, a resupply day and a day off, and also as an opportunity to bail out. If it turned out that I hated backpacking, I could just stay there those 2 nights and then go straight to Temperance River and stay there 2 nights and then leave. So that meant taking those 2 days at Cascade River meant that I should probably cut out, a day and a half of hiking, because it was, remember, 64 miles end to end, and I wanted to kind of average 8 miles a day. So I cut out 13 miles by just cutting out a little section. So my final plan ended up being this. You can only check into the state parks at 4 p.m. So I would drive my car to Pincushion Mountain and then get a shuttle back to Judge C.R. Magny State Park, spend 1 night there, and then hike from there to Pincushion Mountain. Get my car, drive to Cascade River State Park. I should actually get there right around 4 p.m. or 5 p.m. that day, spend the night there, spend the next day there, then drive my car the next day to the Oberg Mountain Trailhead and shuttle back to Cascade River and hike back to Oberg. So that was my final plan, and I really do think it was such a wise decision, even though I'm sorry I lost the money on those state park reservations at Cascade River and Temperance River. It gave me such peace of mind knowing that I could bail out at any point and go to those, well, after the middle. So once I had everything locked down, I sent my plan to a friend of mine, Thea, who has a lot of experience camping and hiking the North Shore, and also to the Superior Hiking Trail group on Facebook. And everybody vetted the plan. They gave me a lot of good advice about which campsites had water near them, which ones were prettier, so I changed my plan based on the feedback that I got from them, and then I finally just locked it down and did it. And I'll tell you how I planned it. So it was pretty simple. Advice I got was also to buy the Superior Hiking Trail Guide, the 8th edition, which I would show you in my hand, but I bought it for my Kindle, and I downloaded the Kindle app to my iPhone, and I referenced that thing throughout the entire planning process and also the whole time I was on the trail. I also got the Superior Hiking Trail Association's maps. They divided the trail into 6 sections, and there is a map for each section. I used sections 4 through 6. And I really only used the maps for planning. I'm a real visual person, and so while I was reading the guide, I would have the map out and really, look at the terrain. You can see the elevation. It gives you good, distance markers. There's a distance grid there. But when I was on the actual trail, I was looking for more detail. I wanted to see exactly where I was, so I would use my downloaded Google map, or I would want to know what was coming in a little bit more detail, or, what kind of forest am I standing in. So I used the guide quite a bit, and not the maps so much. So the other thing I used was a spreadsheet that I created. I don't know if you could see that, but the spreadsheet has a column with the day, a column with my starting point, a column with my ending point, a column with the number of miles that I was supposed to do. It would say what campsite I was supposed to stay at and what supplies I needed to have in my pack, like how many breakfast, lunches, and dinners. It also had any traveling I needed to do, like driving from one place to the other, getting the shuttle, everything. It also had my state park reservation information, and it had my shuttle information on it. And I was looking at this all the time as my plans might shift, or things came up on the trail, and I would get confused and keep looking at this. So yeah, I think that's everything. Here we go. Day one. I just pitched my tent in Judge Magny Park, and I hiked up to Devil's Kettle, just behind me. I mean, that's amazing. I have to admit, I just got on the trail and kind of cried a little bit as soon as I got out here. And I'm going to enjoy it. I think this is my first real river. I mean, I live on the Colorado River literally, but I've just never seen anything like this where it's just, it's rushing. Are you kidding me? It's amazing. I'm just standing in it. I'm standing in it. I just can't think of a more dramatic and amazing way to start this section hike of this Superior hiking trail than the Brule River at sunset. It's just raging and beautiful. I've just been walking up and down it, taking picture after picture and not capturing it. It's I have an iPhone. So yeah, I'm in my little sleeping bag. This is what the 3F looks like. Got it pitched pretty fast. It was a little sloppy, but this tent pad is shaped funny, and I'm kind of on tree branches. Already have a hole in my sleeping pad, but I had duct tape, and I patched I found the hole really fast and patched it up, so that's taken care of. That was a rough night. My sleeping pad, I found the hole and I patched it, but it completely deflated every 15 minutes, and the ground was so cold that woke me up. So I woke up every 15 minutes, reinflated my sleeping pad, slept for 15 minutes, woke up again. I was freezing cold. It had to have been, I don't know, at least like in the high 30s, maybe the low 40s. My sleeping pad was not getting it done. And by the way, I did test my sleeping pad at home. No hole. So somehow between here and there. And when I woke up this morning, I examined it again to see why it was still deflating every 15 minutes. And there was a tiny little pinhole, exact opposite of where the big hole was. I should have looked there first. So I patched that, and hopefully it will stay inflated tonight and I will get real sleep. I'm starting. It's 9:30 and here we go. We are going today to Cadance Wayside. 10 miles is the goal. Here we go. Yay, I made it to a place that's on the map. All right. I made it to the lake walk. It's going to be 1.5 miles on Pebble Beach. Everybody always complains about how hard it is. I probably will also complain about how hard it is. This is where I came from. I just scrambled across the street. This is it. This is coming up into the lake walk. Lake Superior. This body of water has the largest surface area of any body of water in the world. I haven't seen a single person on the trail. I got to the lake and I walked on the shore for like the tiniest little bit, and then it became this weird mass of rocks, and there was a girl, a hiker, with all of her stuff, the first person I've seen, just spread out all over the rocks. So I think she was about to take her lunch, but also she was as unsure as I was whether this was actually supposed to be the trail. I went ahead and crossed it and then decided to take my lunch too, because I mean, this is gorgeous. For lunch, I'm having the hummus, and it looks pretty good. And some tortillas that are made with corn and flour. So I'm gonna enjoy that now. Still beautiful, still amazing. Okay, west end of lake. Walk. We made it. So we're looking for Kelly's Hill Road. We got that. Boom. I just came out of a poplar forest and like crossed a road, and now I'm in this amazing pine forest. I don't know what they are. They're very, 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 very tall. I guess it's just like a state road walk for a while. But I mean, what a change in scenery from Pebble Beach to Poplar, really thick poplar stand, to now this. It's beautiful. The smell is amazing. I've never seen a red river like this. I guess it's the iron. I mean, unbelievable. Well, I made it to the Cadance River camp, but not without walking an extra 45 to 50 minutes because I passed it. This is where I'm going to pitch my tent for the night. The latrine is back that way. There's another tent pad here. There's another tent pad here. I think at least 2 or 3 people could fit there. And then there's a little fire circle. I have a feeling I'm going to be here alone. All right, it's getting close to 7 o'clock. I'm at camp, and I thought I'd just show the food situation because I'm doing it right now. I'm eating. So I just am letting this basil walnut penne, I just boiled it, and now it has to sit for 10 minutes and then it'll be ready to eat, and it smelled really good. I hope the bears don't smell it. So this is the bear bag. It's gonna have all of my food trash, also my anything that smells like hygiene wise, like toothpaste, lotion, whatever. I don't have lotion, but they like all smells. So anything that smells goes in there. I also have everything that's in here in an op sack, which is supposed to lock smell in. So we'll see. And then I cooked here with this is a little stove stand, and then this is a fuel canister, 4-ounce fuel canister, and then this is a BRS stove. And it's like the lightest weight stove there is. It also only costs like $13. So I'm down with it, and I've used it now to make coffee this morning, to make coffee just now,
and to cook my food. And then this is what my food is soaking in right now. It's a Toke's Titanium 750 milliliter cup, and I'm glad I got it instead of the 500 because this pasta wouldn't have fit in the 500. And I want this pasta. So then I'm going to eat all this stuff and pack up the bear bag and go try to find a tree that has that's A, 70 paces away from camp, B, has a branch that's at least 20 feet high, but not much higher because I don't have that much cord, and C, the branch goes out from the tree at least 4 feet. This is all fir trees, so I don't know, we'll see. I made it through the night, and more importantly, my bear bag made it through the night. That's my little breakfast setup. I just made some coffee, and I'm about to have a little chia crunch breakfast cereal type thing. It's like 6:40 in the morning. I've been up for a while. I had to pee at like 2 a.m. and I just held it. It's too cold to go to the latrine, and the latrine is gross and weird. So yeah, that's kind of what got me out of bed this morning at about 6:20 when I got my bear bag down. And good morning. So here's a test. I was talking to a friend about how it sounded like a pain in the ass to put your tent up and get your camp all set up and then take it all down the next morning and then do it again the next night. And to me it sounded kind of exciting, but I also, wondered that very thing. Right now, I'm pretty excited to pack everything up into my bag and get walking and get to the next camp. But I wonder, we'll see. Okay, so I'm going to just share a couple of things that I'm doing that I didn't really see this in very many of the videos that I watched, but I know I was curious about it. So you eat your breakfast and then you have to pack it all away and it's dirty. So I just had my little chia breakfast and then I put a little tiny bit of water in here and put the lid on and I shook it up really hard and then I drank it and then I did that again and I drank it and I just kind of kept doing that with little tiny bits of water until it was clean, until there weren't just any like visible chunks of food in it. And then I'll get my bandana and dry that out, and I'll have to do the same with my coffee cup. And then the other thing is you start to smell real bad. So I'm gonna just go in the tent and kind of take a little hooker bath. Like I have a little baby wipe, and I'm gonna just start at the top and work my way down. And since I didn't do that yesterday, I got 2 baby wipes for today, and that might be why it stinks so extra bad. I should have done that before I went to sleep, but man, it was just too cold. It was too cold, and it's too cold right now, but I just don't have a choice. It is time. Cleaning, boring to talk about, boring to do, and yet mysterious.
I've been climbing for probably an hour or so. Really gradual climb. There was one like steep challenging bit, but mostly it's been pretty gradual. And it's been beautiful, really cool forest, not very dense, but really, really big old trees it seemed like. And then it just opened up into Jurassic Park. I am still on the Cadance River campsite to Woods Creek campsite walk. My guess is I'm a little more than halfway or just at halfway through it. I've been walking through like dense, beautiful, really cool forest, and it just opened up to this view of Lake Superior and this just field of wildflowers and
Yeah, that's where I came from. And that appears to be the only bird in Minnesota. I hear it everywhere. I just got startled by my first animal on the trail, which was a bunny just hauling ass right at me on this trail. As you can see, but he just came tearing up and just took a hard left and ran up into the forest up there. Also, I've officially seen more rabbits since I started my hike than I have people. I've still only seen the one through hiker and the guy with the duct tape pawed dog. And now I've seen 5 rabbits. I don't even know how to talk about where I am right now. Like, the weather changed, everything changed. The sun, the sound. It's beautiful. I could just stay out here all day. This is insane. That's Lake Superior behind me. And then a field of wildflowers, like a meadow. So this is the result of the climb that I've been doing today, I guess. And if my campsite isn't too far from here, I think I'm just gonna come back up here and soak it in for a while. I mean, it's just an astounding view. Lake Superior. So this is Wood Creek. It is I mean, I don't know much about beavers, but it appears to be a beaver-ravaged creek. There we go. There's the shot. I think that's a dam. I don't know. I'm at the Wood Creek campsite. It looks like, I mean, knock wood, but it looks like I'm gonna have another campsite to myself. Each of these campsites appears to have some wooden benches and a fire ring, and the rule is that you gotta share the fire ring. The creek is down there, and there's the thing that I think is a dam, where a lot of people just went crazy. And then it said there are 3 tent pads here, but there seem to be kind of more than that. But when you step back up here, there's 1, there's 2, there's mine, but there's another one behind mine. Well, I just did another spectacularly bad bear hang. I think a bear could literally just reach up and grab it, but it was the only branch available. I think it's worth it since I know someone is going to ask me what the latrines are like. So this is the walk from the fire ring to the latrine. Oh, and then you can see my spectacularly shitty bear bag hang. It's a twofer. So like, imagine tonight, 2 or 3 a.m. when I have my headlamp on and my sandals. And we're going to cross this little trail. This is the Superior Hiking Trail. That's where I came from. That's where I'm going to go tomorrow. And this is where you go to pee. Yep. It's
a little dark, it's a little creepy. I mean, it's nice that it's secluded for the pooping, I guess, but once again, I think I just swallowed a bug. I am Marlon Brando. That's the latrine. It's just a hole in the ground. And here's my bear bag. And now I'm going to fill up on water because I went through almost all my water today. 2 1-liter bottles and 1 0.7 liter. And I thought I would just show how this happens also. So one thing is get yourself a secure place for all your supplies. There's my little bag that the trail shot goes in, plus the Aquamira drops just in case. And my 3 bottles. And this is the trail shot. So I just stick this end in the water, like so. I flip this cap, and I could drink straight from this, but the next thing I do is first I prime it while it's sort of at a 45-degree angle up. You can see water starting to shoot out of there. As soon as that happens, then you tilt it this way and you start filling up your bottle by squeezing it over and over again like that. I am not feeling it today. I just used the last of the toilet paper I have until I make it to my car. I have some baby wipes left. Yay! And also, I haven't had a period since I've had one since last November. One in November, one in March. So I thought it was really safe traveling without tampons. No, started my period yesterday afternoon. So it's been like Clan of the Cave Bear out here. I'm really happy I had this campsite to myself last night and this morning. So yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to getting to Cascade River State Park so I can get a change of clothes and, you know, get my big tent and my really good sleep pad and have one really good night sleep. I think I get 2 there actually, so I'm looking forward to that. I'm not looking forward to this walk, this hike coming up. It's just gonna be beautiful and I'm gonna love it. That's what's gonna happen. This is absolutely my favorite part of the trail so far. I've been on it like a minute and it's already my favorite. I think it's all red pines. The ground is covered in pine needles and on my left is Woods Creek, I think still. There's an official sign for it and everything right here. Sorry, I can't. Oh, it must be over here because you can't see Jack there. This tree finally gave up the ghost. Ah! It's really hard to see. Center of the camera. It's amazing!
love it. Why? Why did we plant crops and sit our butts down? Well, I've been climbing for a while. I think the guidebook says there's like 150 of these steps. Woohoo! Well, I summited Pincushion Mountain today. It didn't take very long. I think I started out at 10. I have no idea what time it is right now. It's probably 1. Somewhere between 12 and 1. It's all gray. It's Lake Superior that we're looking at. You can see the 5 Mile Rock out there, I think. I can see it. So surely you can too. And then that's where I hiked from, out that way. I'm back at the Pincushion Trailhead parking lot, and now I'm either going to go to Cascade River State Park and stay there for a couple of days, or I'm going to go down into town and see if there's a cheap motel with a laundromat next to it. TBD. I'm rocking the 0 day. And yeah, happy. Alright, I'm starting the second half, and it looks like the weather's going to be a lot colder, and it's probably going to rain for the better part of the trip. I'm definitely not hiking right now. This seems like a really stupid idea to just start hiking in a kind of downpour. So pause on part 2. It's almost 2 o'clock now, but I'm gonna do it. So here I go, starting at Cascade River State Park, and I'm gonna hike my way back to Oberg. Yay! We'll see if I regret it. Trip hazard when the trail is a system of tree roots. So this must be Indian Creek. And it's really pretty. It's been a great walk so far. I'm just gonna knock wood, standing on a bridge, knocking it. So I've been climbing like steadily for the last, I don't know, like 30 minutes since I left the Indian Camp Creek, and this would appear to be why I've been climbing. It's way far down there. But this has been great, aside from the, group of 20 guys at Lookout Mountain that were just my whole kind of auditory experience getting there. I passed 3 guys who were doing a section hike from Lutsen to Grand Marais, northbound, and they looked sad. I think they camped through the storm last night. Right now the sun is out, so I'm taking a break on this beautiful view, even though I should be hauling ass to get to my campsite to set it up before it starts raining again. I can't.
This is where I came from. It's been uphill some more. But yeah, this makes me think I'm in like somebody's overgrown backyard. The way it's just kind of just weeds and like tree remnants. Once again, this is the trail. Literally, that's it. Just that way. It's totally overgrown. I'm pretty sure it's the trail. I'm standing here at Jerry Evgen's overlook. It's just a little tiny spur. And I can't see Dick. It's my favorite type of trail right now. The path is all covered in pine needles. It's real cushy and quiet. I love it. Alright, that took almost exactly 4 hours to get from Cascade River State Park to Spruce Creek Camp. And it's full. I got a very slopey tent pad, so I'm going to be sleeping uphill. It's beautiful. I'm going to go wander around and explore the creek a little bit. So that's pretty good into the day. I am in Spruce Creek Camp. Everybody's really nice, and everybody's having as hard a time finding a good branch for a bear bag hang as I am. So that was sad for us all, but heartening for me. It's supposed to start raining around 6, but it's already 8, so I guess we're gonna get the front end, right when we all get to sleep. And it's supposed to thunderstorm, so we'll see. That's it. Boring. We had a big thunderstorm last night. Tent totally made it through, dry as a bone. Bear bag made it through, dry as a bone. Hanging in a tree. And had breakfast, and just as soon as I finished breakfast it started raining again, so I'm hanging out in my tent, and I'll pack up inside here and see if it lets up a little bit. It seems like it's just going to happen off and on today, so I should probably just go ahead and do the hike and find the next campsite. I don't know. It's like I have a 9-mile hike today, so I kind of can't wait too long. Well, bummer. I've worn these exactly 6 days on the trail and it's already starting to fall apart. Alright, it's like 9:40 and I am leaving Spruce Creek. And off I go. I'm going to try to make it to Poplar, but I might stay at Big Agnes because they made it sound so appealing. It's been raining off and on, and I just decided to go for it. I packed a soggy tent in the top of my pack. We'll see how that all works out for me.
I just started this hike from Spruce to Poplar, and like the first thing is I have to enter an incredibly spooky woods, which I'm going to show now.
It's all dark and misty. It's really beautiful. I have to look down, so I'm not going to walk with this camera because you can see the trip hazard path. I think I'm still on this same ridge. I just climbed back up to the ridge from Spruce Creek. I think. I feel like I'm on the top. This is that split between like somebody's overgrown backyard and the Amazon. There's the trail. I'm going in. It's soaking wet. That's the trail I'm about to walk. I feel like it's a fairy tale.
These crazy moments, I love them when I'm like, see how sunny? I mean, it's not. It's totally cloudy, but it's like light and misty. There's light on my face. And then I'm about to go into there. It's like pitch black. I'm loving it. It's like being on some kind of ride, you know? Like haunted housey kind of ride. What's in there? And now I'm going from this sort of dark, spooky bare tree, and I'm gonna head into the Shire.
Oi, this looks like a trail marker tree. Just gave up the ghost last night in the storm.
Look at that little pond. Just nature made it. That's where I came from. You can't see a trail because you have to bushwhack.
Well, shout out to the trail volunteers who made this boardwalk.
Well, I came to this little clearing, and this has like a series of benches and things. So when I got here, the sun was out, so I decided to take my very wet tent out of its very wet stuff sack and dry it out. And the second I laid it out to dry, the sun went behind the clouds. But I'm just gonna let it sit out here in this very humid air and not dry for a little while and look at the lake. And
that's where I came from. And that's where I'm going.
so I don't have a ton of time left out here, just today, tomorrow, and a little bit of the next day. And I was really thinking about the tension between wanting to see wildlife out here and not is like 80% want to see a bear, want to see a moose, want to see a wolf, 20% afraid, until I hear something in the forest, and then that percentage switches and it's 80% don't want to see a wild animal, 20% do. So it turns out I'm a little bit of a chicken shit, I guess, but like, I'll be sad if I get through this without having seen it. I'll be happy I got through this unscathed if I don't see one. I've seen a lot of moose poo. I know this isn't a popular opinion in capitalist America, but man, this bums me out. There's a private property sign over there on the tree, and they're just carving a road out in the middle of the Superior National Forest because, you know, they bought it and they can. And we should all just be grateful that they're letting us walk through their property because, you know, I just don't know why you see beautiful, beautiful wilderness and your instinct is to like, mine, I must have it for me. And then your next instinct is to make it so you can scare everything that lives here by driving ATVs in your car. And you know, just why not just live in the city? You know, own this if you have to. I don't know. It's gross.
This is Lake Agnes. Here come some people. The weather has really turned around. It's sunny with just a little bit of cloud cover to make it cool. So yeah, I'm so glad I decided to continue on and that I didn't let that first thunderstorm stop me. Why can't I see a beaver? I really want to see a beaver. I mean, that appears to be a beaver dam from Agnes Lake into Agnes Creek. I'd stand here all day if I thought I'd see a beaver, but I don't think I'm going to see one. I don't think there are beavers. This is not ugly. It's super dangerous. This is a not uncommon scene on the trail today. It's just chewed up mess. I have no idea how I'm going to get from A to B right now, but that's what I've been doing all day. Nature appreciation step. Look at that. That's where I came from. That sucked. It was maybe my least favorite bit of hiking, and I hope it's over. But it was all of that lake through that person's backyard kind of hiking, you know, where it's all up to here, overgrown, really thin trail. And it's just every 50 yards there was like a lake in the trail that had to be navigated and picked through, and I didn't make it. I thought I was going to make it through today with dry feet. My feet are wet now and super muddy. It's like sinkholes. So the payoff is this amazing, amazing forest. It's beautiful. And I'm just going to stand in it for a while and drink water. So this has been a pretty punishing part of the hike, but the nature bonus is, I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, that's a river. It's the quietest river in Minnesota. It just snuck up on me while I was picking my way through like sloggy, boggy parts of the trail. I just glanced over to my right. I was like, ah, this is why it's underwater. It's a riverbank. The trail's on a riverbank, and it's a beautiful, quiet, flowing river that I guess I'm going to be camping next to at some point today. Dude, I made it to the East Poplar River campsite by 3:30, and it's on Tiny Frog. It's on the river. Okay, things I love about the East Poplar site so far. There's a giant bunny that this must be his home, and he startles every time he remembers that I'm here, but he keeps coming back in. There are so many butterflies just attached to the little campfire area that are hanging out. It's on the water. Thing I don't like, the water source. I walked down a ways because I can hear a waterfall, but I didn't. I walked kind of like a quarter mile, and I didn't get to it, so I gave up. So I was hoping I could collect water there, but instead I had to wade out about knee-high into this river, and it felt really good on my feet. But there are huge crawdads down there, which I saw when I was already standing out there. And then it's super silty, so then I suddenly couldn't see anything once I kicked at a crawdad. And I filled up 2 bottles without incident, came back out, got my 3rd bottle, went back in, and a leech
squeezed in between my toes, and I wouldn't have known it was a leech even, except for that the woman in the campsite from last night who stayed at Spruce was telling me a story about going into Agnes Lake and coming out with a leech on her butt. It's my first leech.
Totally just trashing the place. My shabby little tent and my dirty pants. And a beautiful river. Look who loves B.O. Butterflies. He's been sitting on the armpit of my shirt doing all kinds of crazy work for like forever. Look how pretty.
So, did I love doing this? Yes. I loved walking alone in wilderness. I loved seeing bunnies. I loved knowing and doing, but knowing I can, make camp. It's not that hard. But it was mysterious, and it's not mysterious anymore. It's hard on my body, but it's not impossibly hard. I definitely want to do it again. It's not giving me all the answers I hoped it would give me about my life and what my next steps are and all those things. I have to give me those answers, and that's not how I spent my time. I spend my time on the trail very focused on what I'm doing. I focus on everything but things I hope to work out. So I'm hoping that while I'm thinking about all of the things that are super present, that my lizard brain is working out all of the existential crisis stuff. And these moments at camp where I'm, by myself and I've got a couple hours before the sun goes down. I've only had 1 or 2 of them like this, where I could really think about stuff. And I'd rather just stare at the river. Okay, I'm making all the decisions. It's supposed to rain at 9, from 9 to 11, and then it's supposed to rain from 1 until 4. It's about, it's almost 8. I think it's 7:45, and I'm already packed up. My pad is empty. So I'm just gonna start hiking and see how far I get. And maybe I'll make it all the way to my car and just go to Minneapolis, or maybe I'll camp one more night. I don't know. This is the Clove Overlook. It's really beautiful. I'm still trying to beat the rain, but if you don't stop and do the spurs and the overlooks, why are you here? So, F the rain. And Fuck the Sun by my favorite band, The Bloat. Gotta hand it to the National Weather Service. They said 9 a.m. and boom, 9 a.m. on the dot. Rain. So I put the little extra gossamer gear ground sheet on the outside of my bag. People keep saying that the Z-Pack's Arcol is really, really water resistant, not waterproof, but I just went ahead and covered it up. I don't have rain pants, so my legs are gonna get wet. Here we go. It's almost 11. It's been raining constantly since 9, but it's been a really manageable shower. So I've just been hiking through. It's been uphill mostly, but not bad. My feet are 60% wet now. And if I talk like I am now, my glasses fog over, so stopping talking. It's 12:15, it's still raining, and it's just so beautiful
It's really hard to see how beautiful it is, but it's all misty and dark in this section. I love it. Well, I made it to Rollins Creek. It's been downhill for the last like half hour, and it's basically been like running down a creek. Totally given up the ghost. It's really liberating once you decide it's okay for your feet to be soaking wet, because then you can just stomp through the sloggy, muddy trail. But here's a pretty creek. Well, I did it. I am at the Oberg Mountain Trailhead parking lot. It's 2 o'clock. It never stopped raining. It only just rained incrementally harder the entire time. By the end, I was really like, not quite ankle deep in water, but pretty much my shoes were submerged in water for the last 2 hours of that hike. So I'm gonna call it that. It's just doesn't seem like it's gonna let up, and I did all the miles I set out to do from Judge Magny to Oberg, and I loved it. But I'm not camping tonight if I don't have to. So that was my first section hike, my first time to backpack and camp by myself out in the wilderness. It was pretty great.